sana, wageni wakaribishwa, mirako baluni, hakuna matata, pale ni tembo, hakuna matata, hakuna matata, hakuna matata, hakuna matata. Jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana, wageni wakaribishwa, mirako baluni, hakuna matata. Mirako, 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 ifolo nuruni. Mirako, ifolo nuruni. Tunainama, tunainuka, ifolo nuruni. Tunainama, tunainuka, ifolo nuruni. Ndutu, ifolo nuruni. Ndutu, ifolo nuruni. Ukituona tunainama, tunainuka, ifolo nuruni. Ukituona tunainama, tunainuka, ifolo nuruni. Koga, 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 ifolo nuruni. Koga, 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 ifolo nuruni. Ukituona tunainama, tunainuka, ifolo nuruni.
Good morning from the northern Serengeti. It's breakfast time here. Hi, early morning broadcast. We've been awake for hours, and that's because we've just done a hot air balloon ride, which was, I've got to tell you, one of the most amazing things I've ever done, and one of the most amazing things we're going to be telling you about to try to convince you to come and do it too. So I'm sitting here with Fred, who is the operations manager from Miracle Experience Balloon Safaris. And that's kind of exactly what we want to raise, because it is a safari in the sky. Fred, can you just tell me, why should everyone do what we did this morning?
Well, I would say it would give one a perspective like when God made the creation, He watches everything from above. And when we fly in a miracle balloon, we actually give you that experience, where you can see the beauty of His creation at your what do you say?
Perspective, yeah.
Because many times you can be looking from a vehicle or on ground level, and you can miss very simple things like animals resting in the grass, which is tall, or behind a shrub, but from the air you can see that, and you can spot it, and you can have a few seconds that you actually enjoying it. And
it's almost a spiritual experience, you know.
You're
floating over the Serengeti, and we were lucky enough this morning to have our flight path right over the migration, you know. So I mean, Tanya, you were there, and it's just floating over the wildebeest and the zebra and eland, and wow,
it's completely silent. Every now and again, of course, when you've got to get a bit more height, you've got to get the heat going, but it was in between. You just and you're going, oh, twigger, oh, wildebeest, oh my gosh, there's hyena. There were hyena everywhere. And what you also see, which is really interesting to me, as you say, you're above and you see all the crisscrossing roads.
Yes.
So you realise just how many roads there are, but then you go down and you go up and you're going, well, yes, I can't see anything in that valley. So we saw everything moving around, and everything sort of, well, to be fair, everything ran away from us, which is kind of nice, but seeing nothing thrills me more than seeing a giraffe run.
And vehicles can't get everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, you can see cars are obviously bound to a specific road, and with Miracle Experience Balloon Safaris, they follow no road, you know.
No. Safari, what is it? Safari from the sky?
A safari from the sky.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Unbelievable.
So you guys have been operating for how many years now?
Well, this is a fairly new company. We're coming up to a year.
Oh, nice.
And so far we are up to having 4 balloons. One of the 4 balloons is a special one for honeymooners or for lovers to get up. We've got a heart-shaped balloon.
It's a big red heart.
A big red heart. and it's just enough for the two of them there in the pilot.
Oh wow! So it's a very private experience.
It's a very private experience, and we don't use it too often. So
Have you had any proposals?
well, we had 3 proposals so far.
Oh,
on
okay.
it.
I'm kind of liking
So
that.
we
That's
kind
nice.
of
Yeah,
think it's getting along, but the idea is still catching up.
yeah.
I'm going to keep away from that heart balloon then.
Oh,
you know.
stop!
No, exactly.
I'm not going to say no if anyone wants to. No. So around for a year,
Yep.
but the idea was obviously, the Serengeti is enormous. We're here in the northern Serengeti.
Yes.
You operate from all around. You sort of follow the migration around as well. You've got operations.
We have a central camp,
Mhm.
which is based in Serenera, and we as Kogatende are the ones going to be going around that camp,
Okay.
as in following the migration
Yes.
all the way through.
Yeah.
So in about a month and a half, we'll be moving down south
Mhm.
to start operations in Ndutu.
Mhm.
We'll be there for approximately 3 months, and then we'll move up again to a place called Kirawira
In the western
in
side.
the western corridor of the Serengeti,
Okay.
where the migration starts moving in, and then when they move across to here, so about May next year, we'll be back again in Kogatende,
Mm.
and then the cycle repeats itself.
Yeah. Now I must say I've actually done balloon rides in other places, and it felt like the safest operation that I've ever been part of. The briefing beforehand, but you're actually locked in. So and I've never done that before. I've always had to sort of throw a leg over the basket and jump out at the end. But this was incredibly safe. Tell me a little bit about how you guys sort of put that together. You're strapped in. We get the briefing.
We intentionally
Son. Chop.
had this safety briefing as part of our safety culture, and so far we don't have a record that has been blemished by anything
Yeah.
till now.
Well, because you can have a bumpy landing. I mean, you're at the the
Mercy
whim
of
of
the
the air.
winds, yeah.
So yeah.
So
What an incredible landing! I just want to touch on that point, Fred. That I've also flown a few times in various parts of Africa, and this morning's conditions weren't. There was a little bit of wind, and I must say that I take my hat off to the pilot.
Jonas
for the-
Timber, big shout out, definitely.
how
He
he
was
put the
great.
balloon down. I mean, the basket didn't even tip on the side,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
normally in previous flights, there were quite a few bounces and getting dragged, and then you don't know what you're going to hit. But this morning's landing was like really a touchdown, very soft.
And what I also really, really enjoyed, so when you're up high, he can actually sort of do 360s. He can spin all the way
can spin
around.
all the way
So
around.
he was, wherever you were in the basket, you always got a great shot. Like he
Yes,
was
we
very
do.
liberal about who was at the front and how it went.
Yep.
And
we have the tendency that if anyone sees on any animal that has not been mentioned till that time, to point it out on which side, and then the pilot will then spin the balloon around so that everyone gets a fair share of seeing that animal.
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
the
No,
time
that
as
was-
you go above him.
he did that really brilliantly.
Incredible flying. I mean, you're literally a few meters above
Yeah.
the treetops, and you just drift over. And
There was
you-
one fig tree. What did you say? Oh my God! It's like
No, it's
2 meters
beautiful.
over because everyone else is sort of looking around, and then you look down and go, "Oh, wow! He's just
Just
a lot of
almost
skill.
skinned by it." Yeah.
He's got quite a bit of skill on that.
Yeah. And you have 3 pilots.
Yes, we have three balloons,
Yep.
big ones, and one is the hard balloon. We got out of the 3, we got 2 12-seaters, and we got one, the 16-seater, the one that you experienced your riding. We're expecting 2 more to join our
Oh,
fleet.
great! Yeah,
So we are hoping that they will get here before the end of the year,
yeah.
and by that we mean that we will be in a better position.
Fred, tell me, how do I book it? Is it a difficult thing to book? Can you book it through your safari company? Can you book it directly with you guys, or how does it
You
work?
can book it through your safari company. You can also book us directly, because you can find us on Instagram, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on TripAdvisor.
And incredible that you at the breakfast site here, and the breakfast that's going on at the back, which is a lovely touch. But you also have internet here, and
Yes,
which is why we can broadcast. But you can also
Yeah.
make payments here then online, and
We can do everything here online. we've given this as a part of the experience, the miracle experience, as in having internet in a remote place in the bush is not something that one would find anywhere, and hence it is a lot easier for people to immediately bond with their families back home, their friends back home, and share the experience. Some have even gone live at the breakfast table.
Well, while they're excited and thrilled, you know, I can't stop smiling. So.
And they have been talking to the people at home, and they give the whole shot of the outside. At the breakfast site here, while you're seated here, just about 80 meters off, we have the loo with a view, which is just on the path of a family of elephants that actually go past.
Yeah, no,
it's a normal splashing loo with water, so it's very civilized out here.
It did take quite a while, but
but it's here now.
It is here as a miracle.
Yeah, that's true.
No, exactly.
The other thing, so just to give the entire experience,
yes,
we got picked up at 5 o'clock this morning.
Yes.
Driven out to the site where there's coffee, there's tea, there's, you know, everyone kind of meets and mingles. It's a proper package, you know, and then you go up and you have the most amazing experience, and you land again.
At the same launch site, we also have a loo.
That's true.
Okay. So you don't have to worry
about
any of those logistics, you know.
Yeah, no, right on the river, which is nice. And I mean, obviously that time of the morning is the sunrise.
Yep.
And it's, you know, your African sunrise over the savannah as you're sort of looking at everything. It was, oh my gosh. It was raining at about 3 o'clock this morning, and so we were all going, it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen.
No, it was really windy, and I was getting a bit panicky.
A bit worried.
But then it just calmed down at the time of going for lunch. The winds were reasonable.
So maximum wind speed is about 8 knots or so for you to take off.
We recommend 8 knots as per the manufacturer's advice, and we have tried doing it in more, but it's a pain. It's really a pain to get the envelope to stand up,
well,
because it's
again,
always being
safety.
pruned out, and then we look at it and ask the pilot, should we wait? And then we wait 15 minutes to see if it comes down. If it does not, we wait another 15 minutes, and then the pilot says, I'm sorry, I have to cancel the flight. And then you still, in spite of the flight getting cancelled, you still get a game drive back to the breakfast site. You still get your full breakfast. And you get the offer of being flown again the next day if you are still around.
Okay, so it makes sense then to kind of book it not on your last day of your safari, so if there's strong wind, you still have the opportunity to do it the next morning.
We also look at your itinerary. As we are based in Serenera, which is the central Serengeti, when you come to Kogatende, you fail to fly in Serengeti, we give you the option to fly here, and vice versa.
No, well, I mean, you don't know what the wind's going to be. You have no idea. It's like you don't know if you're going to see a lion when you go on safari.
There's no predictability here, because a lot of the places that have the weather instruments are accurate weather instruments are not physically close to us.
So your information is a little bit further away.
Like if we do go onto the map and try and say my location is here, if you're standing 5 meters to your right, it will give you something outside, maybe 60-70 kilometers from here.
And the microclimate is also different from on the river. But I must say, East Africa in general is great for ballooning, because the mornings generally are nice and quiet,
very nice,
and then there's a build up in the afternoon and thunderstorms later on. So
one of the best ways to see the migration, definitely. We saw some crossings yesterday, and to see the herds underneath us today running, it was a really special experience, definitely. So thank you very, very much for our experience this morning. And you're here with the Serengeti Show. I didn't even say that earlier. We were so excited. We were watching everyone come in. I was in a daze.
Still buzzing from the flight.
I really was. But we've got a ton of
that's the experience we want you to go
with. You're absolutely right. But we have to say thank you to all of our sponsors who are here. Carol's going to do that while I lean over and get the drinks. So.
Sorry, without the sponsors this is not possible, and we have to mention Kili Villas, which is just outside of Arusha. They were the first guys to join us on the show and to commit to this project that we are doing. Thank you very much, Kirivela. It's a wonderful accommodation just outside of Arusha, so a great spot when you arrive, and it's got a lovely golf course for those who are interested in golfing. And then also the rest of the guys that have helped us throughout the journey. Lamala Camps and Lodges, always been awesome. Miracle Experience Balloon Safaris.
Thank you.
And then we have Arik Air that flew us here. And then your sister company Gadgetronics, or Blink, that's providing the internet. Without that, this won't be possible. So wonderful sponsors that we have. Did I forget anyone this time around?
Oh, we'll do it this afternoon. We've got tomorrow afternoon.
And Great Migration Camps.
Oh, that's right. Your own.
Well, you can forget yourself. That's no problem. Perfect.
So we're cheersing because you cannot finish a balloon ride without some champagne. Thank you very much.
Guys.
Thank you so much again. And we'll
Catch
come
you
back
next
to you
year.
tomorrow at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Cheers.
Cheers.
Excellent.
And that's it.
Done.
Yeah.
I hope we came out okay.
I was going to say you were
Yeah, no, but
screening, I know,
sorry,
the wrong way.
Otherwise it's